Hello and welcome to another episode of Dad vs. Daughter. I'm Tim the Dad.
I'm Megan the daughter.
And today, Megan, what are we playing?
Dice Settlers.
Yeah, this is from NSKN Games. This is a game about dice.
Really?
Yeah, there's dice in this game.
I thought it was a card game.
Well, there are cards.
Yeah, but...
They're technology cards.
You know.
Yeah, this is a bag building game where we're going to be getting dice, put them in our bag, and then we're going to roll those in order to get certain actions. Now, the key is we're only going to get 2 actions.
Yep.
So
gotta make them worth your while.
You do, but you can power those actions up by the more of those symbols that you have on your dice. The other thing that this game has some guns in it, and yeah, there's some take that because you want to be the old man and get off my lawn, you know, type of thing.
That's a you thing.
That's a new thing. No, your thing is just shoot me and tell me to get a move on. But no, it's a really cool game. So why don't you just check it out?
Okey-dokey.
We have the basic 2-player setup, which in that case we remove 2 dice from each of the different kinds of dice that we have. We start with our dice track on 3. That means we pull 3 dice out of our bag. We start with 6 of our tents, and we have 9 of our technology tokens. We have 5 of our houses, and then we also have the rest of our tents that are part of our general supply. So general supply and personal supply, we'll get into that because sometimes that's a little confusing for folks. Now, we have a great player board here, and this outlines the different phases of the game. So we have the roll phase. So this tells you everything that you can do on your roll phase because we're going to be rolling our dice and we're going to be doing those sorts of things simultaneously. So what we can do is we can draw out our dice out of our bag and then we're going to roll them. We can spend any of the pilgrim hats that come up to either set 1 die face or we can re-roll 3 of our dice. We can also spend any resources to basically do the same thing. We can set 1 of the die faces, or we can draw and actually roll 2 extra dice. Then we have our action phase. Our action phase, there's a lot of different things we can do. However, we can only choose to do 2 actions unless we have a special thing, and we'll talk about that when that happens. So some of the things that we can do in our action phase is we can recruit. Now, the way we recruit is when we have our little hand symbol that comes up on the die. You can see it right there. That basically means we're going to be able to get more dice to put in our bag. We have the Explorer option, which is the compass-looking face there. That's going to allow us to pull more of the tiles and build out our world, so to speak. We have our settle action, which is the campfire. And what that's going to allow us to do is either pull more tents into our personal supply from our general supply or actually place tents on the tiles on the board. We can do the raid action. That's Megan's favorite action.
It's the guns.
Yeah, it's the guns.
You get to shoot people.
So when we have the gray dice, we can, that has the guns, and we're not really shooting people. That just sounds
it's
bad.
a gun, and I say I shoot you when I kick you off my land.
Yeah, this is the way that you can remove an opponent's tent off of a tile. But the kicker is you have to have a tent to replace it with. So just a nice little take that aspect of it. And you know, if you've watched any of our videos where we have the take that aspect,
that's my favorite part.
That's kind of what we live for. The other thing we can do is we can do a harvest. So whenever we roll any of the symbols that have like the resources on there, we have stone, we have wood, pumpkins. We'll be able to get those tokens, and we have upgraded components. So we showed that off in our unboxing, and we'll show you that a little bit more. We also have the trade action. So you see the handshake symbol there. Let's see if I can find it on the green die here. Oops, let me get that upside down. There you go. So what that's going to allow us to do is we can trade in like resources and get victory points. And I think we can also trade in different sets, and we'll get victory points that way. Because, you know, victory points is kind of how you win. The last action that we can do is we can do the research. Now that is the little lantern there. And what that's going to allow us to do is, you see these technology cards up here, that's going to allow us to basically get technology that is going to allow us either to pull more dice, or maybe when we do explore actions, we can look at different tiles. We can use different faces on our dice to be other things, and so forth. And we'll talk about those more in detail as those happen. We also have a couple of free actions that we can do. We can activate factories, and the factories will be on the tiles. We'll talk about those when those come up. And then the other thing we can do for free is we can do the govern action. And that means that if we have 3 or more tents more than our opponent on a tile, then we can replace those 3 tents with a house, because that's one of the end conditions, and a way we can score a lot of money is by getting these houses out on the tiles. When we have a house on a tile, then we have basically full control of it. Nobody can take control of it away from us. There's no way to remove houses. And houses are kind of like, if you remember some of the other games we've played, like Thebes, they're kind of like Congress cards in a way, because the more you have out, the more points you're going to score for them. Then at the end of our turn, we're going to do a cleanup, which means that we're going to take the dice that we've used, and we're going to basically have those in our used area, and then we'll get ready for the next turn. Now there's a number of ways that will actually trigger the end of the game, and when we do make that trigger, then we will get one more turn after that. So there are 4 ways that we can trigger the end. We can run out of victory point tokens, which are these little stars here. We start with 30. We can get more, but once we exhaust that initial pile, kind of like Race and Roll for the Galaxy, then that'll trigger the end. If our dice pool that we have that's available, if we only have 2 colors left, that will trigger. If we run out of our exploration stack of tiles, you can see we have a certain number. 2 players, you have the least amount. That'll trigger the end. And then if a player plays their 5th house out on the tiles, that will also trigger the end. The other thing about our player aid is it shows you which faces are on each of the different dice. So this is a really good player aid. And you can see I've got the female side here. Flip it over, and there is the male side. Megan, have I left anything out?
Not that I know of at the moment.
Okay, so if I did, we're going to try to cover it when we play. We're each going to start with the same 5 dice that we're going to put in our bag. We have 3 white, 1 green, and 1 yellow. And to start the game off, we'll put these in our bag, and then because we have our dice track set to 3, we'll be pulling 3 out. However, we might have a chance to actually pull more, because what we're going to do is we're going to start Megan as the starting player. She has the little guy here. I think he looks like a conquistador guy that's holding the shotgun. But Megan will be first player. There are differences in the tiles. So the tiles that have the dark green back, those are the starting tiles. These are the regular tiles. So Megan's going to have 3 tiles to look at and choose which one that she wants. She'll pick one, and then what I'll do, she passes those to me. I get to add another one, and then I look at these and I see which one that I want. This is a pretty good one, and we'll explain the different bonuses that you get with the tiles. In fact, I think I'm going to go with this one here. So once we have each chosen our tile to start the game, then these go back in the box. Megan will put her tile out as first player, and she will get to put one of her tents from her personal supply on there, and she will gain the benefit. Now this means that if she has majority, she actually gets to increase her dice meter by 1. I'm going to place this orange one out and place one of my 6 tents that I start with on there, and this actually means I get to put a house there instead. So I will take this one back, and I will put a house on there. The other really nice thing about the rule book is it has the tile list on there, and it has explicit, basically, directions on what each one of those tiles do, because each tile has a number, and it will tell you exactly what you got to do. So Megan, as first player, so she has already increased her die pool, so she's going to be actually pulling 4 dice out. I will be pulling 3. So we give our little bag a shake. I'll pull 3 of these out. We roll at the same time. And then we just kind of have these above our player board. And at this time, we're going to be doing this simultaneously. We're going to be basically setting our dice to what we want to do. So I'm actually good. I would tell Megan, since she's first player, hey, I'm ready. Go for it whenever you're ready.
Okay. So I used one of my hats to set this from the compass to the flame. I like that.
Flame.
So
The settle action.
settle the fire. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the settle.
So what we didn't say is, based on the power of that action, that's how many of those you get to do.
Yep.
So since Megan has 2 settles, she can do 2 of the settle actions.
So I'm going to place 110 for my personal supply right there. And then you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and use the other one so I can go ahead.
Yeah, so
House.
Megan does the free action, that's the govern. She gets to put her house out, and those return back to her general supply.
I always get confused where they come from, general or personal.
Yeah.
That's something I always got to remember.
Well, during the settle, or during the explore action, whenever you take a tile, you actually put that first tent from your general supply on there, and then anyone who is adjacent can actually join by taking one from their personal supply, and then that player who placed the tile can place another one so that they would maintain control. And that second tent from that player comes from their personal supply as well. All right, so I will do the explore action. That means I get, since it's only a power of 1, I get to look at the top tile, and I can place that down. Now, tile placement means I have to, the rules say I have to place it adjacent to 2 other tiles. The first tent that I put on there will come from my general supply. Since Megan is adjacent, she can place one of her tents from her personal supply on there if she'd like. And then I can put a second one from my personal supply on there.
And you get another action.
Yeah, so this tile grants another action. Also, at the end of the game, whoever has control of this tile, majority basically, would get 3 points, and the second place person would get 1 point. So since I've used that, I place that on the bottom part of my player board to show that I've completed that action. Now it bounces back over to Megan, and she takes her second action.
Yep, so I have the recruit. So I can spend 1 to gain 1 dice, and I must have a tile of matching color.
So in this case, Megan could get a gray, which I know she's going to go for because
Yep.
it's got the guns, or she could have gotten a yellow.
And that goes in my bag.
That any of the dice you recruit go directly into your bag. Now it comes over to me. I am going to do a harvest action because that's all I can do. And I have a wood and a pumpkin. So I will get a wood and a pumpkin and put that on my player board. Unfortunately, I don't have any other dice, so I'm not going to be able to do a second action. That's it. So we do our cleanup. We're going to move the first player back over to me. You take all of the dice remaining out of your bag as far as what you can pull from. So I had 2 left, and I can pull 3. Then you place the dice that are used from your last turn into your bag, give them a little shake, and then I will pull the remaining that is up to my limit, and I pulled all white dice.
That sucks.
I'm ready whenever you are, because I don't have many options here.
Yeah, I'm ready. You're up.
Supposed to say it like, I'm ready, I'm ready,
Like
I'm ready.
SpongeBob.
Like SpongeBob. Well, I will do the Explorer. Since my power is 2 for the Explorer, I'll take 2 tiles. Now, I'm only going to choose 1, and whatever one I don't choose is actually out of the game.
But you have to sing the song when you explore.
Let's go explore, explore, explore. Let's go explore
the big blue world.
I always
Big
screw
blue,
that up.
not great big.
Big, great big. Okay.
Big
So
blue.
you can see I have these two options. I'm going to
What?
choose this one
Yeah, of course you're gonna choose that one.
because that's worth 7
Choose
points
your
at the
more
end.
points.
So I place
Hey.
that next to 2. I take a tent from my general supply. I put it on there. Megan takes one from her personal supply,
Yes.
and then I can take another from my personal supply and place it there. So that is my first action. Now it's over to Megan.
Alrighty. I want to explore. So I get.
You only get
Still
one.
get one. Yeah. Okay. What's that mean? Okay. So I've got this one. So it's gonna go. Cause it comes from general.
The first one comes from your general
Gotcha.
supply. I will follow because I'm adjacent.
Yes.
And that comes from my personal supply. Now Megan can put another one on there. It's optional. She doesn't have to do
No,
that.
but I will.
Okay, I will choose my last one as a settle. And, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and put my tent right there.
Alright. I'm gonna do the settle, and I'm going to take one from my general and put it in my personal.
Yep. Now, Megan actually has 2 dice left.
Yes.
What she can do is she can carry one over to her next turn if she wants, or she can choose to put both of them back as spent and then put it back in her bag and re-roll if she'd like. So first player will then go back to Megan.
Thank you.
I usually have my dice pulling up a lot higher early
Yeah, I'm
on.
surprised. You're really
Well,
low.
I went for that
You did,
tile.
Yeah. Ooh, I like this.
I'm not liking my
I like mine.
options here.
I like mine a lot.
And I can't. Well, I could if I wanted to. I could use my resources to change. Do I want to do that?
I did.
You know what? I'm going to do that. I will use my pumpkin, and I'm going to change.
The
Actually,
pumpkin is so cool.
I'm going to change that pumpkin to a research.
That's what I'm gonna do too. All right. So I went ahead and changed my settle to a wood because I want to collect the wood so I can set up my next turn.
Yep. All right. I will go ahead and I will do the research. Now
Because you have a wood.
I'm going to research the stability. So it says that I need 1 research, and at the top it says I need 1 wood. So I'll pay that wood back to the bank, and that will increase my dice drawing up to 4.
And that's what I'm gonna do for my second turn. So there's my wood, and go ahead. And
And we have 9 of these little, they're apple tokens, because we have 9 technologies, because you can only ever get on 1 per player. All right, so
You have one
now
more
to
turn.
me, I am going to do the settle action, and I will place a tent on that one there. So now that I have 4 tents, Megan has 1, I have 3 more than she does. I can do the govern action, which means I will remove 3. These go back to my general supply, and I will place one of my houses there. So now I'm guaranteed I'm going to get 7 points at the end of the game. If Megan stays there, then she's going to get 3 points.
Which is better than nothing. Yeah, that's it.
All
I
right.
went first.
So now we do cleanup. We pass the first player token. We decide if we want to keep that extra die. I don't think so. I think I'm just going to go ahead and send that back. And now I'm drawing 4.
I get 5. Ooh. That's a good one.
Ooh.
I like this already. That's pretty cool.
Now, if you have 2 of the pilgrim hats,
Yes, I do.
you can actually use those to represent any one icon. I'm going to use this to change this pumpkin to a settle. And I'm going to use this one to change this to a settle. Okay, so unfortunately, I'm only going to be taking one action this turn.
Oh, that sucks.
I don't know if that's the greatest thing in the world.
It's not too bad for me.
So I'm going to use one in order to get a tent to my personal supply for my general supply. And then I'm going to use the other one to actually place this on the board. So I want to place it right. Yeah, I'll place it right.
Pick one.
Yeah.
Why there?
I'm going to put it there.
Why?
Well, future expansion. Let's just call it that.
Well,
So I am done. That's my turn.
All right. Well, got my raid, got my gun. So you're gonna go. Bye bye.
So when you do the raid, the tent that you basically removed goes back to that player's personal supply, not their general supply.
All right. So there's that, and then I'm gonna go ahead and use those 2 hats to make another settle. So I'm going to take one for my supply, and then actually I'll just go ahead and take another one so I can have 2 in my personal.
All right.
And that's that.
First player passes to you.
Ooh, lots of hats. Ooh, I know what I'm going to do.
I got hats too. Hats for bats.
Okay, I'm ready.
This may seem a little weird, but I'm going to use that one to change this to a research. And I'm going to use this one to change to a recruit.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and use the research to go here.
Now,
that does not need anything else.
No, one research, and you have to have presence on a green and a gray tile, which Megan does.
Cool. So that means anytime I have the pilgrim hat, I can make it a fire.
Yeah, you can change. Yeah, that's the they call it the
do that
large
now, right?
coach.
Go ahead and do that. So I got 3 hats.
Yeah, essentially that's what it's going to be. I'm going to use the recruit, and I can recruit a gray one now, so
that's
that
what you
will
were doing.
go into my bag.
Well,
That's why I wanted to go on that gray tile.
No, it's a weaponry. All right,
Weaponry.
So I've got 3, so I'm gonna take 1 for one of them, and let's do that there, that one, and then that one there, that one. So it leaves 1 in my supply.
All right. I will do my research, and I will also do the large coach because I am on both green and gray. So that's it. First player comes back to me. Draw on 4. Yeah, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change that to a gun. All right. So.
You're first.
Okay, so I will use a raid, and yep, I will raid there.
Personal. Right.
That goes back to personal, yep. And that's it.
Alrighty. I'm gonna explore. 2 explorers. And ooh, let's do that. What is that? Okay. I'm gonna do this one right there. And then it goes from the general first.
Yeah.
And then would you like to? You can. You have the tent. You are adjacent.
I can, and I think I will.
And then I'll do that.
Okay, so
I can go ahead and bump up my
you
dice.
will bump up, yeah.
So I can get all my dice.
All right, I will do the settle, and I will just take 1 from my general supply to my personal supply.
I'm going to harvest. So I've got a pumpkin, some wood, and some metal.
Metal. And I'm not going to keep that. I'll just bring it down here. First player goes back to Megan.
I get all my dice. Spend my pumpkin. Make that hot. And make those that. Okay. I'm ready. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Cool. Okay. Bye-bye.
Yeah. I'm actually okay with that.
Are you?
Yeah.
I'm very okay with that.
Because I will use my 2 settles, and now that I have those back, I will place those here.
Yep.
And now that I have that 3 majority, or
Pop a
more than
house.
3, put a house on there.
I've got...
Don't want somebody dropping a house on you, do you?
Nope. I've got 3 settles because I had 2 hats and I could change them. So I'm going to... just going to recruit into my supply for the moment. Stock up.
Not a bad thing.
And go ahead, take those back for next turn.
All right. You know what? I will do this. I'm going to use my research, and I am going to research scouts because I have 1 research and I'm on a yellow tile.
So that means you get to do what?
That means that whenever I do the explore action, I get to pull 1 other tile. So it gives me some options. I'm not going to keep that.
Okay.
So this comes back to me. Do you have any dice you're carrying over?
Nope.
All right. Still pulling 4. You know, I think in about every game I usually pull about 6 on average.
I'm pulling 6 now. I've never pulled 6. I've always only pulled 4.
Yeah, you pulled 5 last game, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, like, my average is normally 4. Though.
Ew. Not wild about these.
Let's do that. Make that. And then let's keep that. Okay. I'm ready.
Let's see. Actually, I think I'm going to do this. There we go. All right, so, y'all ready?
Yep.
Okay, I will do the pick action, or the recruit. I don't know why I call it pick, but
Because it has a little hand. It looks like he's picking
it
up.
looks like it's picking. And let's see, I can get any color but brown.
You could, yeah.
And I think I'm actually going to go for an orange.
I was going to say, orange is pretty good looking at it. It's not bad. I'm going to go ahead and explore. I've got 2 of those. We're going to go with this one.
This is actually very,
Yeah.
Nice. Well, so this is what's happening. Now Megan has me cut off, so she can just keep building over there. Plus you can also see that I don't have any houses or any tents in my personal supply there. So I will do a harvest action, and I'm going to get a pumpkin.
A pumpkin?
Pumpkin.
Do you need it for your latte? Pumpkin spice lattes?
Yeah.
Alrighty. I got 2 settles. So I'm just going to go bloop and drop a house.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Because the more houses, the better.
Don't
want to keep those.
Don't think I want to keep that.
Alrighty.
All right. This player goes back to Megan.
Cool. Ooh, I like this too.
Oops. One more dice on there.
Ready when you are.
I gotta roll my dice first.
Well, you're slacking.
Ooh, got a gold.
Ooh, that's a wild.
I could get a gold if I want. Let's see. I think I will use this to change. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna do that. I think I'm just gonna leave them.
Ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready. I'm gonna explore. Got 2 of those. I'm gonna do this. Put that one there. And from my personal supply. And the factory is a free action that once per round I can remove a tent to my personal supply. And when I do that, I get a gold.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna put that there and do that.
Okay. I think I will harvest, and I'm going to harvest a gold and a
Wood.
wood. These gold bars are so cool.
They are really cool. All the components, pretty snazzy. All right, I'm gonna go ahead, use my 2 subtles, and I'm gonna take 1 from the general supply and then drop 1 there for my other one.
Okay. Now, as a free action, you can do the factory if you'd like. Activate the factory.
I'm okay right now.
All right.
I think I'm gonna keep it.
I'm going to do an explore, and I get to pull 2 tiles because I have the scout ability. And I will choose this one.
Ooh, that's nice.
And I will put a tent from my general supply on there. Now, because you are adjacent, you can place another tent there if you'd like.
Okay, I'll take the 2 points.
Unfortunately, I don't have
So what if we
another
tie?
tent. All right, I'm actually going to carry this one over.
Okay.
So the first part comes back to me.
Go ahead and make those some fires.
So even though I carried over 1 die, I still get to pull my maximum according to my my thing there.
Spend metal. Make that.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay.
Do I want to do that?
I'm ready.
Yeah, I think I got to do this. Okay. All right, so I changed my 2 resources to that. First thing I will do is I will do my 2 settles, and I am just going to pull 2 tents into my personal supply for my general supply.
Alrighty. I am gonna.
Nope.
Not yet. You're right. I can't do that. So I'm just gonna spend 1 there, and then I need to keep 1 here, and then I'll take the other one.
Nope.
Nope.
Yep.
Gotta
There
go
you go.
from there. So yeah, I got 2, and I'm gonna go there. That's what I want to do.
That's not what I want to do.
Actually, take that back. You don't want me to do that. I'll do this. Make that a house. And that triggers. Player builds their 5th house.
Oh, you already got. Holy crud! I didn't even notice that.
I was like, I knew I wanted to do something with that, but I didn't know how I wanted to use them. So that's what I want to do.
Oh,
but that way I still
man.
have a tent here, so I can go bang bang.
Well, all right. So this is what I'll do. I will do the raid action. I will do it here and remove you. And that goes back.
Ugh. That's fine. I still have.
So that'll lock into my.
Yeah, you get
That's
the
my 6
points
points.
there. Yeah, I'm upset.
Why are you upset?
I'm upset because I can't shoot you.
You can't shoot
and
me.
Take the land.
Here?
I'm raiding.
Yes.
It shouldn't matter if I have
No,
presents
you
or
have
not.
to have presents.
No,
And
I should
because
just be able
I
to.
shot you. I got you off my land.
No, I should be able to come back and shoot you and get back on it.
I was
don't like this.
old man. Get off my lawn,
Ah.
you darn kids.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't know what to do now. Because that gun's kind of useless.
Yep, your gun is kind of useless.
We still have 1 more turn, right?
We will have 1 more turn.
Yeah. Okay, I'm just going to do it out of spite because I'm mad at you. So I have presents there, so get off. Just
Well,
go
that
away.
is definitely out of spite.
Just go away.
But I appreciate that. All right. So that was your 2 actions. Are you going to carry any of those over? Either.
No, I won't.
I'm going to use that, and I'm just going to change that to settle.
You ready?
I'm ready.
Alrighty. So I'm gonna explore that 1. Ooh, 3 points. It comes from the general supply.
Yep.
And I get an extra action.
And I'm not. Yeah, you'll get an extra action.
You got some fires.
So I will go ahead and I'm going to spend 1 of those to place that, and I will spend another 1 to to go here. And I'll
Why?
spend my 3rd one to go here. Just trying to get a point.
You're not going to get a point here.
I know, but I will there.
Oh.
And then because I have 3 here,
Why are you...
I can put a house on there.
I don't understand you, but okay.
I'm just trying to get a point.
Well, why did you put one there?
Because I had to get to here.
Oh, whatever. Okay.
Actually, that was dumb. Let me back it up. Instead of going there,
yeah.
let me go there.
I mean, I shouldn't have said anything because now you got
Yeah.
that.
You know what? Let me just put. Yeah, it don't matter.
What?
It don't matter. I'll just do it like that.
You're confusing me.
Sorry, turd blossom.
Not a turd blossom. All right, I got 3 fires. So I'm gonna take 1. It doesn't really matter at this point.
Well, you could come over here and get 2 points.
Yeah, I'll do that. And then I got 1 left.
The other one's not really going to help
Yeah,
you.
just drop it there.
Yep.
Alrighty.
All right, so that. Oh, you
I
still
have
got another
an
action.
action, so I can
Oh, yeah.
harvest.
Yeah, you can, but not
Let's
really
get some
good.
stuff. Because they don't count for VP now. So.
Yeah.
Oh well.
Are you done?
I guess I'm done now.
All right, so let's figure up the points and find out who won. All right, so you can see from the trophy presentation, Megan won. That was actually a pretty good game.
Yep.
Now, tell you kind of how we do the scoring. I'll show you. This is how close it was the last game that we played.
So annoying.
So we're going to get points based on the points that are on the actual tiles themselves. So I got 19, Megan got 23. You're going to get points for technologies. I had 3 points, Megan had 2. You're going to get 3 points for every 2 dice. I had 7 dice, Megan had 6, so we get 3 apiece, so 9. Houses, I had 4, which is 16. Megan had all 5, which was 25.
Woohoo.
And oddly,
We had no
none of
victory
us
points.
had victory point tokens. So
I was using my resources this time to change my die instead of saving them to cash in. So
yeah,
different strategy there.
yeah. So now that Megan has the Pilgrim Hat Trophy, let's get to what we think. All right, Megan, I'm going to let you go first since you were the victor.
It's pretty good. It's not necessarily a game I would personally get out to want to play a lot, but the more I've played it, I think it's just like I like it better because I know what I'm doing as well. But I do think it's cool how you can, it's all depending on the dice rolls. I like how you can change, like you have different options of changing the die. You can use like the technologies to change the hats to the settle option, and you know you can use your resources to do that and stuff, which I think is kind of cool. So you're not just like stuck with what you draw. There's kind of some ways to change it. I like that you can kick people off your land. That's my favorite part. So I always try to go for the gray dice. And I do think the components are cool. I know we talked about that in our unboxing because you did what, Kickstarter for this? Or
I
you
bought the Kickstarter
extra
edition.
Yeah, so that's why we got the really cool components, and they are really cool. I mean, those
And they're heavy.
you're
I mean, there's
harvesting. Yeah, there's weight to them, which is really cool.
and we mentioned that in our unboxing. But the gold, you can see how shiny the gold is. It's really
so
cool.
is the metal. It's got a nice coating on
Yeah,
it.
and it's nice and hefty.
The tree
wood,
trunks, they actually have like the rings in them,
you can see those.
so it's pretty cool. I mean, they're all really cool looking.
But yeah, you paid extra to get these top shelf components, and I think for me it's worth it because this is a game that I am going to play a lot.
Because you like it a lot more than I do, so I'll go ahead and let you finish.
All right. Yeah, I love this game. In fact, the very first time I played this game, I'm just like, wow. This was one of those few games that blows me away right as soon as I get done playing it. And I want to play it again. This is in contention for my game of the year for 2018. It is that good.
Really?
So
Because you were saying another game, weren't you?
well,
that was like
let's not get ahead of ourselves.
All right.
But if you know me, I love dice, and I love this bag building aspect of basically building your bag for actions and rolling those. Like Megan alluded to, there are a number of ways that you can change the faces of the dice. So that mitigates the luck factor. There's plenty of ways that you can do that, either through the pilgrim hats or by spending resources that you have. The other thing I love is that there's so much replayability in this. Now, in a two-player game, you didn't see really a whole lot because you only use a handful of the tiles. But here is a stack of tiles that we removed from the game based on player count. So you can see there's a lot more. They all have different abilities and point values and such, different terrain.
The tiles are numbered, so when you are like changing it to scale down, you remove certain ones. So that's why those are not included. It's not like we just chose them at random.
Yeah, I can see that number. And the numbers are always usually like on the wagons or houses or whatever that's on there to make them easier to read.
I think this is the first game, at least that I know I've played with you, that we've triggered it by getting the houses out, because we normally run out of tiles first.
That's true, because when we do those explore actions, especially when we're pulling more than one tile, then we really go through those. The other thing I like about, as far as replayability, is this is all of the technology cards. Now, the different backs represent the different types of technologies that they have, and the rule book will tell you which or how many to pull from each type. So you can see that, again, there is a number of different things that you're going to be able to add to the game in order to make it different for each time you play it. So I really like that aspect as well. I like the artwork on the cards, the dice, the components. Like I said, we've got the Kickstarter version. The wooden components are nice because you don't have to have the upgraded components to play it. But like I had said, this is going to be one I'm going to get to the table, I think, frequently. In fact, I've played this quite a bit now, so you'd think I would be a little bit better than Megan. But Megan is a very good gamer in her own right, so that's why she's able to basically hold her own against me. And I'm not the greatest of gamers. I've just had a little bit more experience. But I love the dice. I love the components. I love everything about this game. And as you saw in this two-player game, it only took us 35 minutes to play it. So it's a fast game. You don't really have time enough to build an engine, but you can develop strategies. So like Megan's strategy here, once she got to the point where she knew I could not expand and follow her, then she can just keep pulling tiles, and hopefully she's getting those that have the high points, or even in this case, just any points, because I'm not going to be able to follow.
That's normally what I try to do as well. Like, I know sometimes you want to fight over like who has control more, but I'm also like, if I can start exploring more and kind of getting away from you, that definitely starts helping, because then I can definitely have control of the higher point tiles.
Yeah, and this was a game that I kind of got away from how I normally play, because I normally get my dice pulling meter up.
Yeah,
so I'm pulling more dice. I only got to 4. Most of the time I'm at 5 and 6.
Yeah.
In fact, the last game that we played, I was pulling 6, so I was actually pulling all the dice that I had.
So that's kind of what I liked about this one, because I normally don't focus too heavily on that, but I liked it this game, actually being able to do that.
Let me just grab a handful of the dice here. But no, these dice are like super cool. And this was a game that really kind of came out of nowhere for me. I saw a number of people that were talking about it at Essen, and then a buddy of mine had actually backed it on Kickstarter. I got to play his copy, and I immediately went and was able to get a Kickstarter copy from my local game store that they had. So was definitely worth getting for me. It's just awesome. Love these dice. Love the look and feel of them. Love everything about the game. I don't really know that I have any negatives to say about the game. Now, I'm not saying the game is perfect, but for me, it's up there. I mean, my enjoyment of the game is very high. My feelings towards, like I said, all the components, the artwork, all that is very high. And like I said, this is going to be one that I'm going to play a lot more. Now, Megan, I probably won't be playing with her.
I mean, I will. It's not like it's a bad game or that I'm like, oh, I don't have any interest in playing it. Like, if you want to and it's been a while, yeah, there's a good possibility. But it's not one I'm probably going to bring up and be like, hey, let's play this one. But, I mean, it's still a good game. I'm not knocking that at all, because I do like it. But it's just not a favorite of mine.
And that's totally fine. There are games that Megan has that she will always ask to play. Harry Potter.
Harry Potter.
Or not Doctor Who.
Anything British.
Yeah. So, and that's fine. You know, we each have our own feelings on what we like the most in games. I've got nothing against Megan's favorite games. In fact, I enjoy them very much.
Yes.
But I think most of the group that I play this with really like this game. In fact, another one of my buddies, after he played it, he was able to get a Kickstarter version as well. So I highly recommend.
I think it's worth getting the Kickstarter version as well, just for those components. Like, if you do like the game and you do know you're going to play it a lot, like I know you said, like, the components are pretty cool.
And I'm not one that normally goes for the upgraded components. I feel like, do I really want to spend that for a game that I don't play it much?
Games, but like if you do play this one a lot.
Yeah, this one I've gotten to the table several times.
Yes.
And yeah, I love it. So highly recommend it from me. Game of the year contention. Megan, she's okay on it.
I recommend it if it's your thing, but it's not a game of the year for me. My game of the year's already been decided.
Yeah, and that's totally fine.
There's a couple videos on my game of the year, so you know, it's decided.
All right, so that is Dice Settlers, and we will catch you guys next time.
Bye.
So kind of an addendum, I did want to point out that the game does have a solo play, and you'll see that it comes actually with a few other components that you're going to use to basically simulate the AI playing against you. So in the rule book, it does a really good explanation of Diceneer, the solo mode, and it tells you all about playing that. I have not actually played this solo. I've read through the rules, but you know me, I always prefer to play against human opponents if possible. But this tells you basically all that you have to do in order to play the solo variant. So I just wanted to include that, which I think is a really nice touch, and also another reason why this game is so great. If you would like to support us, you can visit patreon.com/dadvdaughter.
Like and follow us on Facebook to stay current on our show schedule, sneak peeks at future shows, and to interact with us.